Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Let's Talk About It with Pastor E. I'm the host, Pastor E, or Pastor Eric Brown is the government. Hey, y'all like, share, subscribe. Share it to some people. Say, oh, you've been missing some great talks with Pastor E. We try and drop some science or from my point of view. I told people before what makes me qualified to maybe even do this. It is, because I too have been in the same shoes as you. And some of the things that help me to overcome is what I'm sharing with you guys. And with this being a new year, and I know you want a better year than last year. We should all want better. We should all be striving for better. Today, I wanted to talk to you about commitment. What are you committed to? What is priorities in your life? You're only going to commit to what is prioritized for you. So if I said, what are you committed to? You're going to say, some of you might say, well, my children. Some people might be committed to their husband or wife. Could be a job. It could be whatever. And then some things you might not be committed to. You might just have a job. A job is a job. It's not a career. I'm just here to make ends meet or whatever. But even God says, wherever your treasure is, that's where your heart is. And one of our problems for us not winning or for us to dealing with the trauma or the problems in our life, our priorities are not right. When you get money, what's the first thing you do? Are you going to buy a bunch of food, going to Burger King or some fast food joint, a restaurant? You going to the club? What you doing? You buying clothes, or if you get a lot of money, what's the first thing you do? Oh, yeah, I'm going to buy this car. I want a better car. And sometimes in those decisions, our priorities are not right. Just because you might have came into some money or something, are you being a good steward? Are you saving any money for a rainy day fund? A lot of us, when we get a certain amount of money, and soon people are about to get their taxes in a few months. Some of you might get $10,000, $15,000. What you do, you go on some vacation trip, or now you buying lobster and stuff like that. I don't even know why people eat lobster. There ain't no meat in that thing. Who want to fight with their food like that? But anyway, and it's expensive. You've been eating hamburger helper. Why can't you still eat hamburger helper? People they had a season where they might have ate beans for a while. So when you see them and they can go to a restaurant and they doing all this stuff, look like they balling, you just see the results of one of the time when they had a sacrifice, when they was eating beans for a month. So because they ate beans for that month, guess what? This is why their pockets is what it is. But their priorities were different. And that's what we have to get, is we have to get our priorities right. What comes first to you? Now, the first things first. Let's say first things first. You have to get selfish. You have to be selfish. So, let's say this in a weird way, maybe, but you have to make you first. So priority number one is you. When you get on a plane, the first thing they tell you, if there's some trouble, put your mask on first before you go to help others. So many of us are trying to help others when we need help ourselves. So now you got two people who are hurting, trying to help. You can't help somebody till you straight. Once you're good, then you'll be able to help others. So God comes in, and that's what he deals with. He deals with you. So what he tells us, though, is you make him first in your life. So by you making him first in your life, that's helping you first. He says, make him first in your life. Then he says, love your neighbor after. He says, love your neighbor. So these are the greatest rules for God. Love him. Then he said, love your neighbor. Our problem is the B clause in that says, as you love yourself. So even loving God and loving your neighbor, he's expecting you to love yourself. Some of us don't love ourselves. So how can you love God if you don't love yourself? How can you love your neighbor if you don't love yourself? You got to love you some you. Say, I love me some me. I might not have everything right. I might not have everything good, but I love me some me. Nobody can do me better than I do me. So priority number one is you got to be selfish. God is the head. He's first in all of this. But he's looking for you to make sure that you are okay. Put your mask on first. Then you love on others. So priority number one is God, but it's you. Number one. So our priorities have got to be right. You might have kids and you're like, those are my priorities, but your kids don't work. If you die today, what happens to your kids? So now, if you die today, but you got a $500,000 life insurance, you got 401k, you got all this stuff set up for them, what happens to your kids? So you had to set up your life insurance, your 401k, your savings, all of that. Your bills are paid, all of that stuff. So that if you did pass, your children are now set up where they're not having to deal with what you left behind. So now you have to worry about you. Same thing about even if you have a spouse. Same thing, family members, whatever. You have got to prioritize yourself. You have got to come first. So now you know there's things jacked up in your life. There's a lot of stuff going on. So now you're saying, hey, I'm trying to get better. I'm trying to have a greater 2026 than this year. So the first thing I'm asking, we're not going to do a lot because we have to be real with this. So I'm asking you about commitment. You have to be committed to prioritizing yourself first. God is the head, so that's automatic. But the first thing after God is you. So you have to prioritize you. Number one. So in 2026, we're going to take it step by step. Your first commitment is to making sure you are straight. Now, what does that look like? I don't know what that looks like for you. But you have got to be straight. Second thing we want to do, I need you to commit to not doing something you were doing the past year. That was part of your downfall. So, for example, if you smoke cigarettes or anything, whatever it is, you know you smoke a pack a day, 2 packs a day. Some people, I don't know how y'all do it. Maybe you got to commit to saying, hey, I was smoking 2 packs a day. I'm going to commit to smoking 1 pack a day. Everybody can't just go cold turkey with 9. We got to be realistic with this. So the new year came, most people going to create some New Year's resolutions and saying, hey, I'm going to do this. I'm going to lose this weight. I'm going to I'm going to be in shape. I'm going to do this. I'm not going to, whatever it is. I don't know. And by 2 weeks into January, people done dropped it, back doing whatever it was. Because sometimes what you're prioritizing and what you're committing to, you set the bar so high, it's unattainable. It's going to be unattainable for you. So we got to take it in pieces. You can't eat the whole loaf of bread. You got to start with a slice. Maybe just not the end piece right at the beginning. I don't like the end piece unless I was eating like beans or something. But you take one piece first, or you take 2 pieces, then you make a sandwich. Then you can take another piece, that make it a club. But we got to do it piece by piece. So as we're getting into commitment, you can have an end goal. My end goal is to lose 50 pounds. Okay, so now how do we lose 50 pounds? One thing we got to do is I got to stop eating all of this sweets. So, am I going to not eat cake when I love cake? Am I not going to eat banana pudding if I love banana pudding? I know I'm going to eat it, but now I have to somewhere sacrifice to not eat it as much. And then I have to do something, commit to doing something different to replace what I'm taking out of my diet or whatever it is. This is where the change is going to happen. If I continue to still eat the cake, eat the sweets, eat a bunch of food, do all that, and I'm not doing anything different, I'm still just going to be out of shape. I'm going to be fat. I'm going to be all of that. But if you're trying to do something, we got to commit to something. Hey, I'm committing to working out. I'm committing to stretching. How about that? I'm going to commit to stretch for 3 days a week until I could get to 5. When I can get to 5, I'm going to commit to now doing some push-ups and sit-ups, 10 of them. Some people just come in, hey, you're going to go buy this gym membership, you're about to do all this, and it's going to be too strenuous, so you're never going to shorten it. We're going to prioritize, shorten this stuff. So what am I doing? This is my end goal. But how do I get there? I could say, hey, I want to lift 350. But I ain't never lift weights my day in my life. I can't just go pick up 350 unless I'm just got some super Samson strength on me or something. But I ain't got enough hair, so Samson's strength is here. I can't do it. But the point, you get what I'm saying. You gotta start with some dumbbells. Maybe you gotta grab some 25s and some 50s. And I gotta work to this. I can't just come and say, just because this is my end result, I gotta just go at the end. You can't do that. That's not how life works. So what I got to do is commit to certain stages. What am I doing? What am I prioritizing first? And when you take these steps, your end result is going to happen. Even when it comes to God. God is no such thing as a super saved believer. Like they got it overnight, they all set. God even understands that's why he gave us grace. Grace, it says, my grace is sufficient. Sufficiency means what you're lacking. So he's saying his grace is there for wherever you're lacking. So when you're starting off, he knows you're lacking. So he's saying my grace is going to cover you. But once you do the first thing and you pass and you're all set and you go into the second thing, his grace may not be there for that. What was that step one for you? Because you already overcome that. So he's saying that's good. His grace is for what you're lacking. There was a man with his hand was deformed. It was a withered hand. And he tells them, yo, stretch out your hand. Now, on one hand, his hand is straight, perfect. His other hand is shriveled up. So if he goes to stretch out his good hand, does he need God in that hand? No. But it's the hand that was withered. Once he started to stretch it out, so his grace is sufficient. So you don't have to be perfect overnight. But we striving for perfection. We going from glory to glory, dimension to dimensions. This is how this works. So I'm asking you today, we got to have priorities. Put your priorities in order. God is automatic. He's number one. If God is not the beginning, the end in all of your life, then, I don't know. I don't even know what to say. You're an atheist. But what I don't believe is, how can you be an atheist? You see good every day, and you see evil every day. Some of y'all can call it the universe, or you want to call it whatever you want to call it. I'm not here to bash that or do anything with that. What I'm saying is the opposite. Even as an atheist, you see something, you say, that's bad, that's evil. So we call that, say, the enemy. So that's team enemy. Now, somebody does a good deed. I don't know, help somebody across the street. Be a blessing to give somebody money. I don't know, when they're in need. We call that good. And so that's where we get God from. That's it. If you want to call him the universe, you go ahead and call him whatever you want to call him and do all that, whatever. I ain't got time and we go back and forth with all that. But this is all I'm saying. Priorities. So if you want to say the universe, but say, hey, I got the universe first. And then we'll figure that part out as we get deeper. But for right now, automatic. That's automatic. So now what's your priority? I don't know where you're at. I don't know what's going on in your life. But in order for it to get better, first you got to prioritize yourself. This is what I need to do to bring peace into my life. This is what I need to do to bring joy into my life. And now we got to be committed to it. And don't try to bite the whole apple. You can't eat the whole apple. You're only going to eat an apple in bites. Be smart. Like I said, hey, you need to save $10,000. You know what your bills are. Hey, you know what? I'm not used to saving money, but guess what? I'm going to start putting $10 aside every week when I get paid. If I put $20 aside every week when I get paid. So even if you get paid 2 times, you put $40 aside. So guess what? You almost got $500 at the end of the year. Right now, you might look at your bank account and it's overdraft. So now this is what I'm saying. This is how we're going to change. We got to prioritize things and we have to be committed to doing it. So for 2026, priority number 1 is you. God is automatic. Automatic. Like I said before, love me first, then your neighbor. Your neighbor is not your next door neighbor. Later on in the text, he tells you that your neighbor is the person that showed you mercy. So the problem is we confuse because we acting like, oh, my neighbor next door and all of that stuff. No, your neighbor is the person that showed you mercy. The key is God wants us to be that neighbor. So that means that we're the ones showing people mercy. And that's how we'll be able to love everybody. But that's how this starts. Love him, that's automatic. So the next person got to be you. It's got to be you, your priority number one. Because you can't love your neighbor until you love yourself. How do we do that? We prioritized ourselves. Now we got to be committed. Committed to what? What am I committing to? And take it step by step. Don't try to do the whole thing overnight. As long as you have a better 2026 going into 2027 than you have for 2025 going into 2026, that means your year is going to be greater. Priority number one, you. And what are you committed to? What are you committed to make your life better? It's Pastor E. Y'all like, share. I'll see y'all again. Deuces.